Why do some of the hospitals deliver world class care, shorter wait times, and strong financial performance, while others struggle with patient complaints, overcrowding, and rising costs? One of the key differences lies in tracking the right KPIs, both financial and operational numbers that connect quality of care, operational efficiency, and financial stability. Today, I am going to break down the top 15 healthcare KPIs that every hospital director, operational leader, and FP&A professional must track. So let us dive in. Hospitals deal with high patient expectations, strict compliance, unpredictable demand, and huge staffing costs. KPIs help hospitals improve care quality, reduce risks, optimize resources, and maintain financial health. Before we jump into the KPIs, let us quickly understand how a hospital actually operates because every KPI ties back to one of these core functions. A hospital typically runs across five major operational pillars. The first one is the patient intake and triage. This is where the patients arrive, register, get assessed, and are directed to emergency OPD or inpatient care. KPIs like the wait time and ER wait time come from here. Second is the clinical diagnosis and treatment. Doctors, nurses, specialists evaluate symptoms, run tests, and administer treatments here. Metrics like treatment accuracy, medication error rate, and HAI rate are born here. Third is the inpatient care and bed management. Patients who need monitoring stay admitted. This drives KPIs such as bed occupancy, ALOS, and patient to staff ratio. Fourth is the support services and operations. This covers the pharmacy, labs, radiology, housekeeping, and nutrition that help the hospital run smoothly. This affects KPIs like cost per patient visit and the overall care quality. And finally, we come to the fifth, which is discharge and follow up and retention. Patients leave the hospital, but their experience continues through follow ups and long term care. Your KPIs such as patient satisfaction, readmission rate, and retention rate connect. Hospitals balance the toughest combination of pressures, which are patient outcomes, staff workload, regulatory standards, and financial sustainability. That's why KPIs matter so much. They show exactly where the care is strong and where is the risk rising. Now that we have the full picture of how a hospital operates, let us next dive into the KPIs that truly define performance, starting with the most important one, which is the patient satisfaction score. The patient satisfaction score is equivalent to the CSAT. It measures how satisfied patients are with the care that they have received. It is calculated by taking the total satisfied responses divided by the total responses. It matters because higher satisfaction boosts reputation, retention, and insurance reimbursements. For example, a CSAT of 92% signals strong hospital service quality. Now, satisfied patients matter, but so does how long they had to wait. Hospital KPI number two is the average patient wait time, which tracks how long patients wait before receiving the care. The formula here is the time of consultation minus the time of arrival. This matters because long waits can cause dissatisfaction, overcrowding, and overall lower operational efficiency. Next, let us measure how effectively you are using your most limited resources in the hospital, which are the beds. Healthcare KPI number three is the bed occupancy rate, which shows the percentage of hospital beds that are occupied. It is calculated by taking the occupied number of beds divided by the total beds. If the occupancy is too low, which means there is underutilization, but when it is too high, then it could result into patient bottlenecks. FPA uses this for revenue forecasting. Now let us measure an outcome every hospital wants to reduce, which is readmission. Healthcare KPI number four is the readmission rate, which tracks how many patients return within a set period, usually 30 days. Readmission rate is calculated by taking the readmitted number of patients divided by the total discharges. It matters because high readmissions signal poor care quality. Insurance companies usually penalize hospitals for this. Next, let us measure how long patients stay, which is also a major cost driver. On a quick side note, if you are serious about growing your career in FP&A, then do check out our Certified Global FP&A Professional Program. CGFPA is a 6-month accredited certification in FP&A designed to help you become real business partners. If that sounds something you would be interested in, links are in the description. Also, there are a bunch of free resources that you can download on FP&A, including books and free courses. You will find all the links in the description. Healthcare KPI number 5 is the average length of stay, which shows the days a patient stays in the hospital. It is calculated by taking the total inpatient days divided by the total number of discharges. For FP&A teams, they track allos to optimize staffing, bed turnover, and cost per patient. Next, let us look at the staffing, which is one of the biggest costs in the healthcare industry. The patient to staff ratio measures how many patients each staff member is handling. It is calculated as the total number of patients divided by the total clinical staff. High ratio here leads to burnouts, errors, and poor patient experience. Now, next, let us measure the clinical quality of the care provided. Hospital KPI number 7 is the treatment accuracy rate, which tracks how many treatments or procedures were performed currently the first time. It is calculated as the correct number of treatments divided by the total treatments. Errors lead to complications, higher costs, and lower patient trust. Another quality KPI for the healthcare industry is the one that every hospital fears, which is the infections acquired inside the hospital. Hospital KPI number 8 is the hospital acquired infection rate, also known as the HAI rate, which measures how many patients get infections during their stay at the hospital. It is calculated by taking the HAI cases divided by the total admissions. High HAI rate damages reputation and can bring legal and insurance penalties for the hospital. Next, let us talk about the pressure zone of every hospital, which is the ER. Healthcare KPI number 9 is the emergency room wait time, which tracks how long patients wait before being seen in the emergency room. It is calculated as the triage start date minus the ER arrival. Long emergency room delays signal staffing gaps or bed shortages and cause critical patient risk. But none of this works without the staff retention ratio. KPI number 10 for hospitals is the staff turnover rate. It shows how often hospital staff leave. It is calculated by taking the staff exits divided by the average staff count. Healthcare turnover is expensive and replacement cost is 2 to 3 times the annual salary. Now, let us return to the patients. The hospital KPI number 11 is the patient retention rate, which shows how many patients return for future care or follow ups. The retention percentage is calculated by taking the returning number of patients and dividing it by the total patients. Why this matters for FP&A is because loyal patients improve the long term revenue and trust for the hospital. Healthcare and hospital KPI number 12 is the medication error rate, which tracks how often medication mistakes occur. The error rate is calculated by taking the medication number of errors divided by the total prescriptions. FP&A teams model this for risk cost, liability, and training investments. Now, let us move into the financial KPIs, starting with how much it costs to treat a patient. Hospital or healthcare KPI number 13 is the cost per patient visit, which shows the total cost of delivering one patient visit. Cost per patient visit is calculated by taking the total operating cost divided by the total patient visits. It matters because it helps hospitals optimize efficiency, pricing, and next is the KPI that ties beds to the revenues. Bringing us to the KPI number 14, which is revenue per available bed, which measures how profitable each hospital bed is. It is calculated by taking the total revenues dividing by the total available beds. FP&A uses this to plan capacity, expansion, and service mix. And finally, an outcome that every hospital aims to reduce, KPI number 15, which is the mortality rate, which tracks the percentage of patients who pass away while under the hospital care. The mortality percentage is calculated by taking the patient deaths divided by the total admissions. This is a critical quality of care indicator monitored by regulators, insurers, and accreditation bodies. From patient satisfaction to wait times, from infection control to financial KPIs, these metrics give hospitals 360-degree view of operations, care quality, and profitability. FP&A connects them to answer the most important question: are we delivering great care efficiently and sustainably? Let us do a quick recap. We started with discussing the patient experience KPIs like the CSAT, the wait time, the emergency room wait time, and the retention. We then moved to the operational efficiency KPIs like the bed occupancy, the average length of stay, the patient to staff ratio. We then talked about the clinical quality KPIs like the treatment accuracy, the HAI, the readmission, and the medication rate. Finally, we talked about the financial performance KPIs like the cost per visit, the revenue per bed, or the staff turnover. Track these consistently, and your hospital becomes safer, more efficient, and more financially resilient. If you like this breakdown and if you want to watch more FP&A videos like this, do hit the like and subscribe button. Also, let me know in the comments which other industry KPIs would you like me to cover in the videos. And do not forget to check out a bunch of free FP&A resources, including books, free courses, and templates. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.